All right. Let's see here. And ladies and gentlemen, this is them on the moon. It says excellent connection. Wow. Okay. What's up? Happy Sunday. I made it. I made it to Bali. I'm going shirtless because I'm burning. The AC does not work in here, which we'll get to it, but I'm freaking burning hot, so this is going to be interesting. Um, but yeah, I made it to Bali. We're here. This house is in such a gorgeous area. It's like, man, the garden and all the plants and flowers and trees around are just gorgeous. If you look at it, we'll see it in the photo dump, but it's fire. I'm cooked. I'm gonna seem like I'm under the influence of something because I stayed up till like 2 a.m. last night talking with the homie, and then I had a gnarly travel day. I had a like flight day, and then today I had a 4-hour car ride here, sweating, didn't sleep, and then I'm off some uh, Earl Grey tea and a giant McDonald's run. And I just sent it and like unpacked and like got set up and just busted out this post because I was thinking about waiting until the morning, but I just never miss these. And I've been so consistent. So I'm just like, okay, I'm going to just run it, even though I'm sauced. So we'll see how we can get through this. But a lot of cool stuff this week, actually. So um, let's just get into it here. Okay, first thing, it's always so stressful at the airport because um, I have so much stuff, right? And it's expensive because I have to buy extra fees. When Spence and I went to Bali last time, our baggage fees were $1,000 for the wait. So I buy like extra baggage fees, like extra weight. But then the problem is I can't check my. Is this? Hello? Is this feeding back? Anyways, I can't. Hello? Sounding a little weird to me. Hello, 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 hello. Okay, sorry. Anyways, I can't check my speakers; they're super heavy, and I'm not going to check my computer either because it's like $6,000. So I just have to bring it on the plane. But this airline, a lot of the Southeast Asian airlines, only allow you to check 7 kilograms, which my computer's like 10. So I'm like, oh, and so I was going to have to pay like $160 or something. It's like, damn it, because you can't buy extra weight for the carry-on and they weigh it and stuff. So anyways, I get to the gate. I ask the lady, hey, can I check my speakers? Even though they have batteries, sometimes they let me check it. So she looked at it. They asked the security. They said, go. So I checked them. And I had extra weight, so that was good. And then I just had my backpack still overweight, though. I get to the counter, and I get to the waiting area, and they come on the speaker. They say, we have strict 7 kilogram baggage carry on. If yours is over, we'll force you to check it. Please comply, blah, blah, blah. So I was like, damn it. So I went up to the counter. I said, hey, dude, my backpack's overweight, but it's this expensive computer. It's like the whole weight is the computer. Can I just take it on? And he looked at it. He's like, it's in the backpack. I was like, yeah. He's like, okay, you're fine. Let it go. So I was like, oh my gosh. So I just got off scotch-free. Then I get to my next flight. And when I get to the gate, dude looks at me and he's like, put your bag on the scale. Put it on the scale. It's like 12 kgs or something. He looks at it. He's like, okay, go. And just let me go. And I was like, no freaking way. So that always stresses me out so much. But it ended up being completely fine. So look at that. Bless. And then the house I'm at, right? So like I said, gorgeous outside. It's so much bigger than it looks in the pictures. Like insanely high ceilings, so much room. But the thing is, it's not like as nice as it looks like in the pictures. Like it's the ocean behind me. You can't see, but it's from the decks and stuff, like ocean view, gorgeous trees and stuff. But it's just not that nice of a spot. It's like it's kind of old and it's like not so fancy. But so there's that. There's tons of lizards, like gangs of lizards everywhere, which honestly doesn't bother me that much. But then the thing that I'm kind of worried about, one is the AC, because I'm like, when the lady was showing me around, I was like, oh, is this the AC remote? And she was like, yes. And the way she said it, like I was like, huh. But then now that I tried to turn on the AC and it doesn't even work, it won't turn on or anything, I was like, oh, she knows that it won't turn on. So I'm going to have to ask her about that and deal with it. I don't know what I'll do. But the other thing is that some of the windows, like the windows in the bathroom and like these doors, they're not sealed. So like in the windows in the bathroom are just slits. Like you can just stick your fingers out. And so this whole thing is not sealed. So I'm like, the AC, I mean, it would blow on me right here, so I would like it, but I'm going to be living in Bug City. I already know. It's going to be bugs in here, flies, and hopefully not a ton of mosquitoes, but there's a bug net on the bed. But I don't know. I'm a little worried about that. Not exactly stoked, but I think it'll be fine. I think I'm going to have to grow my beard out, to be honest. And just be a mountain man, jungle man. But that's that. So the bags, the place is sweet. What else was I going to say about it? Oh yeah, the Wi-Fi is a little sketch, but this says excellent connection. So we'll see how it does. I can't plug in the Ethernet because the Wi-Fi is way downstairs. So not really sure about that. But when I got to Bali, I couldn't check in for a day. So I was able to stay with my homie, Michael, who he's a dude from Spokane. He mainly lived in San Francisco, but he's married and has kids, and he lives in Bali now. So, and he's a G. And so we saw him last time I was in Bali. So I said, hey, I have a night. Can I stay with you? So he just got a new villa. It's freaking sweet. And him and his wife and his kids are just the freaking best. I love him. Every time I get to talk to him, he's just a gangster. And his businesses were rendering. I think they still are. I don't think he does the rendering anymore, but he does similar work to what I did. He just would do it for architecture and stuff. But super interesting dude, super cool dude. And so we went to breakfast. I'll show you in the photo dump, but he's awesome. And man, dude, the guest bed they have, so comfy, dude. Oh, but I stayed up so late, but that bed was fire. And, anyway, so that was cool. And it was good to see him. I think him and his fam might come out here and stay out here and then, come visit me and hang out and do a music day with the kids here. So that would be fun, but that's the plan for that. Let's see what else I got. I'm holding on, baby. I'm freaking holding on to do this. What do we got? Oh yeah. Well, I'll get to that in the photo dump. There's this giant like wooden xylophone thing here that's freaking sweet. So I'm stoked about that. Okay. Another thing I wanted to talk about is that I had in my head, at first I was like, hey, my Substack's just going to be free. And then when I get to 1,000 subscribers, free subscribers, I'm going to figure out like a monetization plan or a way to have a paid tier or something. So I'm at 100 or 1,020 now. So I'm trying to think of a plan. I'm not sure what I'm going to do, but what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to paywall these Wonderneath Weekly ones, but not all of it. So when you get the email, you'll get a little blurb. You'll get anything new from me, any new videos or new work or music or anything like that. You'll get my what I'm wondering about section, and then it'll be paywalled. So I'm thinking about putting the personal stuff, like I'm gonna make my writing like more personal and just raw and honest. I mean, it's not like it's not honest, but just more personal. And then my photo dumps, and a link to book a call with me and certain things like that are more personal, I'm going to reserve for paid members. And the thing is, there's some people that have been on my Substack for a long time that like reply to my posts and like my posts and click my links, and I can see who opens the emails. Like it gives I can look at the emails and they have a star rating on how much they engage or open. So I think that I might comp those people if they don't want to pay, just because they've been so supportive in like day ones and really cool. So I think that's maybe what I'm going to do, but I'm not sure yet. I'm really just thinking about it and trying to figure out what makes sense and what would work for me. But I really want to build it and get an income stream from this Wonderneath stuff that I'm doing. So, but yeah, 1,000 subscribers, pretty crazy. Honestly, I feel like I'm always dissatisfied with everything, but I'm like, that's pretty cool. To get that many emails and that many people. I have a pretty bad open rate though. It's like a 30% open rate. So I think a lot of the emails go to spam, or like people just don't care, which I understand, but either way, that 1,000 number is cool. Let's see what else I got here. Oh, dude, the taxi drivers at the airport, dude. Oh, you go out at the airport in Bali and and it's just freaking, hey, taxi, sir, taxi, you want taxi. And they're like walking alongside. You have my headphones on, just ignoring them. I'm like, no, thank you. And they just follow. And then I book my Grab, and these dudes are unrelenting, bro. They're like, how much is it? Tell me, my car's here. I'll take you. And I'm like, dude, like I had to like be stern with multiple men. I'm like, listen to me. I'm not going with you. You're wasting your time. Stop it. I said no. Stop. And I tried to be nice to a lot of them, and I was, but a few of them, they're just like trying to like literally reach for my phone and like see how much it is, and like, I'll take you. What are you doing? Like, you have to wait so long. Like, da da da, and just so freaking relentless, dude. I'm just like, stop. And they're so crazy, dude. They are just trying to get you. And a couple of them, I was just, after like, there was a few that I wasn't like that mean, but I was like, listen, dude, no, like, I'm not going with you. Just give it up. And they just would keep going. So I just kind of was like, I'm waiting. I might as well just talk to this human, whatever, and not be a dick. But I was like, listen, dude, like, I was asking why they don't do Grab. And I'm like, listen, the Grab gives me a guaranteed price and everything's taken care of, right? If I go with you, which is what the taxi drivers do a lot of times, they say, oh, I'll take you for 200. And then they're like, you get there and they're like, oh, 300. Or they're like, oh, fee. Or like, you got to tip me though. Or like, they'll just, they'll be sketchy. So with Grab, they don't do that because they'll get a bad rating and you can report them and you can, it's like they don't get the money till you are done. And like, there's just checks and balances. So that's why I do it. So I was explaining that to them, but they were freaking just insanely persistent, like psychopath. I was like, oh my God. So that wasn't that dope, but damn. Last thing I want to say is that my Sunrise music video comes out tomorrow, baby, and the song. I don't know if it'll be tomorrow in the States or what, but it's the 12th, so that's gonna be coming out. And then happy Mother's Day. Love you, Mom. If you're watching, you're the best mom, and I love you. Check the mail. Okay, so let's get into this update here. Share. Okay. So this is kind of a cool header today. Really cool clouds on the way out here. So I already went through all this. Okay, what I'm wondering about. Ooh, I gotta do a divider here. More divider. Boop. Okay. I gotta proofread this too because I'm a sauced boy. I'm a lost sauced boy. Is there 2 dividers? What's happening? Oh God, this is so confusing. Sorry. Stand by. Okay. There we go. Okay. What is older, Bali Hindu or Indian Hindu? I was talking to the driver on the way here about Hinduism and stuff and how are the differences come about. Turns out Indian Hindu is like OG. It's like insanely old. It got spread to Java and Indonesia, but there was already pre-existing religions and like animism and stuff and like ancestor worship in Indonesia. So it merged with the Hinduism, and now Indonesia has its own type of Hinduism that's different than in India. And really most of Indonesia is actually Muslim now because the Muslims, and I asked the dude, I said, well, why is Bali Hindu and the rest of Indonesia is predominantly Muslim? And he said, it's really interesting. So when Islam came through Indonesia, they were taken over and they were just, if you wouldn't be Muslim, they would kill your ass. So a lot of people were fleeing Java to Bali because it's so close. And so it just ended up with a lot of those Hindus in Bali, and then the rest got taken over by Muslims. I don't know about the rest, but a lot of it. So that's what's up with that. It was pretty interesting talking to that dude about it. What is the biggest airport in Southeast Asia? This is kind of an interesting one. It's Singapore. I forget, it's called Changi, I think. Changi Airport. So it's by a long shot the biggest in Southeast Asia. And then in the world, the biggest footprint is Saudi Arabia. So the biggest airport by footprint is this Saudi Arabia airport. Look at this. Wow. That's insane. That's cool. So yeah, it's that. And then the biggest one by traffic is Atlanta. So most traffic of any airport is Atlanta, Hartsfield Jackson Atlanta International. And then biggest terminal on the planet is, so Dubai's close as far as traffic, but the biggest terminal is in Beijing, Daxing International Airport. Beijing Airport. Man, China does it big, dude. They freaking shred. Oh, this is the Chinese one. This isn't the Saudi Arabia one. That's crazy. The lizards are making sounds. Okay. Back to this. Let's see what else we got. I got a ton of wondering about, like, I was going crazy on perplexity this week. Holy shit. Um, do different areas of fat get burned depending on what exercises you do? I was wondering if it's like, because I saw this thing, I was looking for kettlebell workouts, and it was like exercises for back fat, right? Kettlebell exercises for back fat came up, and I was like, can you do certain exercises that burn fat in certain areas? Turns out no, it just burns fat pretty much uniformly across the body no matter what exercise you do. There's like a teeny bit of evidence for spot reduction, but it's like negligible around whatever muscles you work out, but it's really no factor. So it doesn't matter what exercises you do to, and what area of fat it burns. So that's a wives' tale. This one's maybe a little controversial. Is it true that the population of Pakistan is inbred to an alarming degree? So this is one that I remember hearing this, and then I was like, okay, is this true? And it is. This is crazy. For example, a study in Sargada district found a consanguinity. I can never say that word. Consanguinity rate. I can't read. Of 56% with first cousin unions, making up nearly half of all marriages are first cousins. So in this specific region. But anyways, they have a very high prevalence of genetic mutations that result in disabilities and genetic conditions. There are over 1,000 mutations linked to 130 different genetic disorders that have been documented. And it's not all through Pakistan, so there's different regions that don't have such a problem, but it's pretty gnarly. And it apparently, what did it say? The term alarming can be subjective, but the available data do indicate that the rates of consanguineous marriages and the resulting genetic health burden in Pakistan are unusually high compared to global averages. This situation is recognized as a significant public health challenge by both local and international experts. So it is true. So I remember hearing that, and I was like, I want to check. That's pretty gnarly. Don't marry your cousin. Just think we'd have it figured out by now. On another note, I mean, this is a freaking swerve, but I was going to get to it because I'm reading the Bible, which cover to cover, which is crazy. But man, it's crazy in Genesis. It's just really a lot of incest. It's just a very incestuous situation. And, it's weird. And it's so alarming. Like there's this whole thing about Lot and Sodom and Gomorrah. And, man, I could rant on it. It's so crazy. But long story short, some angels pull up to Sodom, and Lot sees them, and he's like, come to my house. And they're like, okay. But then all the townspeople come around the house, and they're literally like, send out those two guys because we want to fuck them. And which is crazy. And Lot was like, no, don't do it. But I have two virgin daughters. I'll send them out, and you can do whatever you want with them, is what he says. So what the hell, dude? It's just crazy, man. It goes to show you back then, his women were just full property. Like, it's just crazy. Anyways, he was apparently righteous. It doesn't sound very righteous to me, but that was the thing. Anyways, but then the angels end up blinding everyone, and they go away. But then Lot has to leave Sodom, and God nukes it and destroys Sodom and Gomorrah. And then Lot's living in the cave, and his daughters are like, hey, let's get dad drunk, have sex with him, and get pregnant so we can continue on our bloodline. So they're like that. So they each do it different nights. They get him hammered and get pregnant by his kids, and then that's the whole lineage from Lot. So it's a lot. It's very strange. The whole thing is strange, and the whole time I'm just questioning everything I read. I'm like, what is going on? Like, it just doesn't make any sense. So much of it doesn't make any sense, and I just wish I could like figure it out. Like, this doesn't make any freaking sense. Like, there's so many things with Noah that don't make sense. There's so many things with, when Cain and Abel, and Cain kills Abel, and then he gets like banished or something, and he's like, I can't go out to the wild because everyone will kill me. People will kill me. It's like, bro, you're the second person or the third person ever. Who is out there? Like, what are you talking about? Like, like, how does that make any sense? I mean, even if Adam and Cain and Abel were banging their mom and having a million kids, it's like, how many kids would they have to have so that they're waiting for you out in the woods and going to kill you? Right? Like, what? Like, it just doesn't make any sense. It just doesn't make freaking any sense. I guess, they apparently live to like 800 years old. So I guess if Eve is just pumping out kids every year, then you got 700, 800 kids, and maybe more if she was having twins. But really, it's like they're out there going to kill you and you don't know who they are. And like, just doesn't make any sense. And maybe, I guess, honestly, now that I'm thinking of it, Adam and Eve could have had a bunch of daughters, and then they could have been banging their brothers, and then they could be having way more kids. But even then, it's still just questionable, in my opinion. I'm like, what is happening? Just weird. So freaking weird, dude. I could rant on that for an hour. And that's just the start. That's just Adam and Eve. You get to Noah, you get to Lot and Abraham and all this, all kinds of weird stuff happening. I think I got to do like my own like separate streams or something and like answers, get like research these questions. Next question. How many elementary particles exist? This is an interesting one because I love particle physics, man. It's so interesting. It's so crazy. So there's 17 elementary particles. There's fermions. There's 12 fermions, which are like matter-based particles. And then there's 5 bosons, which are like the particles that have to do with the fields. And the crazy thing about this, dude, is that if you think about it, our entire reality, this is so crazy. Our entire reality, our entire existence is basically 12 fundamental particles following the rules of 4 basic forces. And that makes up all matter and everything we know about. Is just those particles and forces interacting, and that gives rise to everything. Electricity, gravity, matter, just everything comes from these simple 4 particles playing by these 4 rules, or 12 particles playing by 4 rules, which is gravity, electromagnetism, strong and weak nuclear force. Those are the 4 fundamental forces, and that's everything comes from that simple of a thing, which is just very amazing. But I guess those 5 bosons, they're like particles that have to do with gravity and electromagnetism and etc. But I love that shit. It's so interesting and crazy. Okay. Anyways, here's another one. Are the sons of God in Genesis angels or humans? Because it's crazy. In Genesis, it talks about the sons of God coming to earth, finding beautiful chicks and getting them pregnant. And then their babies are giants, the Elohim. And, so basically, yeah, and it's angels. So angels, either, what does it say? Especially in ancient Judaism, the early Christian church, sons of God were fallen angels or lesser divine beings who took human wives. So some kind of version of angels. And then that's how giants got made in the Bible, is by angels banging humans. And it's just, that's another thing which just makes you go, what is happening here? Which, man, I could go forever and ever on this, but I think that if I would say anything from so far what I've read in Genesis and the research I've done, it's making me more and more convinced that God and angels are advanced extraterrestrial beings, right? That we're messing around on the earth and doing stuff, and that's what these stories come from. And it's not like Sky Daddy God. It's like just like an advanced alien king that is doing stuff on the world. And through that lens, everything makes sense. Like, it's so weird because with Abraham, right, there's this thing with Sodom and Gomorrah when Abraham's out of his tent and he sees 3 men and he calls them Lord. He says, "My Lord, come into my tent, let me feed you." So, and this is God. In the Bible, they say this one of these men was God and the 2 other men with him were angels. And he says, "What are you doing?" Da, da, da. And God's like, "I'm going to go pull up to Sodom and Gomorrah and see if it's as wicked as they say and then deal with that shit." And the thing to me is I go, why, if you're God, do you need to go see? Like, dude, you made the whole shit. Like, what's going on. What are you talking about? Like, why do you need to go see? Like, what are you talking about? It just doesn't make sense. And also, it's interesting because you think of Jesus as being the only time God took a human form, but he apparently took a human form when he was talking to Abraham as a person too, and was rolling around the earth as a person with angels that were people. And so, anyways, the 2 angels, I guess God dips, and then the 2 angels ended up going to Sodom and Gomorrah, and that's who Lot takes into the house that I was talking about earlier. And then, dude, Sodom and Gomorrah gets nuked. It says God rained down fire and sulfur from heaven and destroyed it. And, Abraham and Lot saw the plume of smoke from the distance. Like, it's like an advanced, you think of a spaceship, right, with nukes, boom, like, or some advanced weapon just destroying the city. Like, that's what it freaking seems like. That's what the angels seem like. Imagine there's all these advanced beings and they're going down to earth and there's babes on the earth and they're like, yo, we want these women, and they're having kids with them and they're making half human, half advanced being babies. Like, that's what it seems like. I know it sounds crazy, but I'm like, if you believe God and angels are real, that's just as crazy. Like, these like extraterrestrial, I mean, it's kind of almost the same thing, honestly, depending on like your definitions, but very interesting. And I mean that, and I'm just in Genesis, dude. I'm going to read the whole thing. So I'm like, this is going to get crazy. But anyways, sorry for that tangent. That was a big tangent. Anyways, let's keep going. More of these. Who's in charge of Vietnam? So there's a Communist Party leader who's the top dog. Influential person is the general secretary of the Communist Party who leads the CPV and effectively holds the highest power. So I don't know which one of these guys that is. I feel like it's probably that guy. Maybe that guy. I don't know. Anyways, then there's a president under that. And then there's a prime minister under that. So that's how the government works there, apparently. Didn't know. Okay, another one. This is another heavy one. Is it really in the charter of Hamas to eradicate the Jews? You hear this when people are debating it, and it's, they're like, well, if Israel laid down their weapons, Hamas would just kill all the Jews because that's what they want to do. That's their point. So it was in the charter in 1988. It contains multiple passages that refer to Jews in explicitly hostile and religiously charged terms. There is 7 sites in the Hadith that say to kill Jews, basically. And but then they redid their charter and they took out a bunch of stuff in 2020. I think it says, or 2017. The policy document by Hamas, or Hamas's policy document, has softened or removed much of the explicit anti-Semitic language. So maybe they're coming around. Maybe they did that because they don't want to have to own it. Who knows? I kind of have a feeling that they still want to eradicate the Jews, I would guess. But it makes for a very difficult situation either way. I will say that. So yeah. Anyways, what happened to the American dude who tried to steal a poster in North Korea and got 15 years in jail and died? This is crazy. This guy, what is his name? Let's see. Otto Warmbier. He was an American college student who was in 2015 was in North Korea as part of a guided group. This dude, oh no. My stream's going down. Hold on. Damn it. See if we're okay. I'm recording this, so if it sucks, I'm just going to upload it. I think we're okay. Slower than recommended. I think we'll be okay. But anyways, okay. Otto Warmbier. And he was in an area he wasn't supposed to be in. And he frickin' stole a propaganda poster off the wall and they caught him. Got 15 years in jail with hard labor. Convicted, dude. There's videos of him in the courtroom freaking out. Anyways, shortly after his sentencing, he suffered a severe neurological injury under unclear circumstances and fell into a state of unresponsive wakefulness, sometimes described as a coma. So he's in this weird coma because I think he just shit his pants. I think he's like, I can't believe this happened to me. Dude was, how old was he? He wasn't that old. And so I think he just shit his pants. And he's like, how can life be real? Some people think they beat the shit out of him though. Anyway, so he was in this condition while he was detained, and we negotiated to get him released on humanitarian grounds and medically evacuated. So after a while, we got him. But upon his return, doctors found he had suffered extensive brain damage, but there was no clear evidence of botulism, maybe brutalism, or physical signs of torture. So there was no signs that he'd been like roasted, but he had severe brain damage somehow. So his family thinks he was mistreated, but then he died. He frickin' died in 2017, 22 years old. And holy shit. They ordered $500 million in damages to the family, but there's no mechanism to enforce the judgment. So I just think nothing happened from it. But dog, is that not bananas, dude? This freaking 22-year-old kid tries to take a poster, next thing you know, dead. But man, they got him, dude. I bet they did some crazy shit to him, bro. He gets 15 years sentenced and then goes into a coma, dude. That whole thing just blew my mind. I was like, oh my God, so scary. Anyways, that's my last one for the wondering. It's the last thing I'm wondering about. What I'm reading, the NLT Bible. Yeah, I picked the NLT Bible cover to cover. So far, it's crazy. New Living Translation. I Googled, I was like, okay, what is the most accurate word for word translation that's like modern? And it's the NSB 2020 version. But then I looked up what is the most accurate version in terms of meaning translation, like the meaning, the intended accurate meaning is translated rather than just the words, because sometimes the words, because of how long it's been since it was written, the exact words translation doesn't actually convey the intended meaning. So the NLT is apparently the best as far as intended meaning. So that's what I'm reading. And well, it's crazy, dude. I'm going to have to figure out a way to read it without like questioning everything so deeply because it's like a lot. But anyways, vibes this week of songs. I think they call this Love cover. Bro, such a vibe. Insane vibe. And then Smooth Operator, dude. Ben sent me this. My brother sent me this. Oh man, I've been vibing to it so hard. It's a freaking banger, dude. Oh my God, it's a banger. Okay, photo dump. Look at this. This is the spot. This is from the entrance. This is the house, the oceans. You can kind of see the ocean in the background there. And then there's like just plants and garden all around, trails all around, and huge garden areas and everything. Very nice, very cool. My stream is lagging, I think. But anyways, view from the garden. So when you go over to the garden, this is the ocean view you get. Very, very nice. Potato Head Beach Club. We went to breakfast with Michael and his family there. Very nice vibe by the beach. And then this is the instrument I was telling you about. It's called a gamelan or something. Gamelan? Anyways, it's like a giant xylophone. It sounds so cool. It has these wooden tubes underneath. So when you hit these, they resonate into the tubes. And you already know I'm going to be recording it. It's freaking dope. It's so sick. And then this is the entranceway to the Potato Head Beach Club. It was really cool. So in there, they pick up trash on the beach, and then they have this factory basically where they make it into stuff. They make it into like furniture and like art and like cabinetry and like all kinds of stuff. And it's like just plastic. And they have the whole facility there behind glass, and you can see them making it and cutting stuff out with the CNC machine. And it's just really cool. I was like, this is a freaking dope idea. So it's a cool thing they do there. I think, oh yeah, my stream is lagging bad. I think I'm just gonna upload the video, but that sucks. Oh, okay. Anyways, is there anything else? I think that's it. Yeah, songs coming out. So if you're watching this, probably check out my new song and music video. I really worked hard on it. I'm really proud of it. It's very cool. I may have to stop doing these as live streams and just uploading them if the connection's so bad. But anyways, that's that, baby. So come on. We'll see you next week. Thanks for watching. I'm so cooked. Sorry, I'm so cooked. Check out, this is my space. So where I'm going to be doing my thing, I think. I might arrange this different. I moved the desk and stuff, but that's what's up. So that's that. And we'll see you on the next one. Later, everyone.